Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Storytelling and Illustration Workshop. My name is Miki, and I am the Illustration Community Manager at Pixabay. This self-portrait I made here is a little bit outdated because I don't have dark hair right now. But yeah, I am an illustrator and a graphic designer working for individuals and brands, and I'm thrilled to have you all here with us today. Pixabay is all about connection, exposure, and inspiration for creatives. Pixabay is a community of artists sharing their work with a global audience, giving and receiving feedback, upskilling with free educational blogs and workshops like this one, and taking part in events and contests. As an artist, you can also set up your profile to receive donations or indicate that you're available for hire. For those who aren't already on Pixabay, we invite you to check out how you can use the diverse range of media to enhance your own creative practice, find collaborators, or build a portfolio and contribute with your own work. Please reach out if you'd like any support getting your new profile set up. I'm always here to help. And if you've been around on Pixabay for a little while and looking to boost your exposure or improve your creations, just message me. We love supporting Pixabay artists on their journey, whether it's profile setup advice, content tips and feedback, or featuring artists on our social media channels, blogs, or website for extra visibility. We're always here to help. Looking forward to seeing you all on Pixabay. Today, we will be having a little introduction to what storytelling is and why it matters. Then, we'll be creating our own story. And finally, some lessons on foundations. Okay, great. To start off, we'll be playing a little game I call Give This Artwork a Title. The rules are pretty simple. I will show you an artwork, um, and you can write in the chat box a possible title for the artwork. So, for example, this illustration, I actually didn't think of this title, but the artist captioned this with "Hurry up and pick," which I find so funny and cute. Like, it makes sense, right? The older brother's dialogue could be a fun title. Here's another example. So I titled this New Beginning because as I observe the characters and the setting, it seems like the family just moved into a new apartment. There's a box for moving things, and it seems like they're cleaning the floor. So, new beginning. I hope by now you get how the game works. So, observe the illustrations well, see the characters, think about what they're thinking based on their expression and body language, but also look at the environment, the background. Create a story in your head and be creative. But also don't make it too complicated. Just type the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? Ready? This is our first illustration. Please write in the chat your title. Date? Okay. Oh, I love this. She'll like that. Anticipation. Proposal. Okay. Thanks for all your answers. Great job, guys. Next image is this one. Write your title in the chat. Flash sale. Back in stock. That's my drink. I love these titles. Okay. Good job, guys. Okay. The next illustration is this one. I love the ready for a game. Ooh, giving the cat a name. I love the great catch. Okay. Next is this illustration. You can do it. Just one more. You will see. No way he's doing it. Okay. Thank you so much for being active. I love the energy. So, why do you think we tell stories? First is to make sense of the world. Life can be chaotic and confusing. Stories help us organize our experiences, understand the causes and the effects, and ultimately find meaning in events. You can see this in the past. Take constellations, for example. Ancient civilizations created myths around star patterns to make sense of the night sky. Even today, stories help us process complex events like how psychologists suggest creating narratives about our own lives to help us understand our emotions better. Second is to share knowledge and experience. Stories are a powerful way to pass down information, traditions, and values from one generation to the next. They can teach us about history, culture, and how to navigate social situations. Third is to entertain, obviously. We all love a good story, right? Stories can transport us to different worlds and introduce us to fascinating characters that we might never meet in our lifetime. They provide an escape from the everyday and a source of joy and wonder. That leads us to another reason why we tell stories, which is to explore possibilities. Through fiction, we can imagine different scenarios, experiment with different choices, and consider the consequences of our actions. This can help us prepare for real life challenges and make better decisions. Finally, it's simply to connect with others. Sharing stories creates a sense of community and belonging. It allows us to share our emotions, thoughts, and perspective with others, fostering empathy and understanding. The last reason, in my opinion, is the best reason. One of the best things about being an artist is when someone looks at your work and says, I feel this or I can relate to this. The artist's personal story intertwines with the viewer's story, creating a shared connection. That's the power of storytelling. It bridges gaps, makes us feel seen, and helps us connect. Now that we know the power of storytelling, how do we make a story? What sparks the creation of an idea? I will be giving some practical brainstorming steps that could guide you in creating an illustration with story. The first step is branching out. We're going to take it back to the basics of information gathering tool. So this is the 5 W's and 1 H approach. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys know this already. We have the questions who, what, where, when, why, and how. These 6 questions are commonly used to gather information and to understand a certain situation, which is why it is used a lot in journalism and research. But it can also be a good starting point for creating well rounded stories. Let's look at the illustrations I showed you earlier. Let's try to dissect what's happening here. So, who? It's a man wearing a suit, holding a bouquet of roses on one hand and an umbrella on the other. And it looks like he's smiling. What? What is he doing? He's looking at a jewelry store from the outside. Where? He's in the sidewalk. We can see clearly the streets and the storefront. When? When is this happening? On a rainy evening. Why? Now this is where you can start making stories on your head. Um, Based on some of the titles you said earlier, she'll like that or proposal. So this could be he could be thinking of proposing possibly, which is why his smile is a bit soft and wishful as he's looking at the rings. How? Now for this question, it usually means how did it happen, which I like to translate to what's the vibe like. You know, um, happy could be a word, but I think I prefer yearning and wishful, right? Okay, so a quick one on this who people from different age group. Um, there's children, but there's also elderly. What are they doing? They are shopping. Where? In an Asian market? When is this happening? I think it's happening early in the morning on a weekend because there are some kids there. Why? Based on one of the titles you gave earlier, you said flash sale. So there's probably a sale happening here. That's why it's a bit more chaotic. So that's also related to how it looks a bit chaotic and fun and full of energy and life. Okay. When thinking of a story, you have to have a seed, a starting idea. Where do you begin? There's a lot of possible starters, categorized from their originating question. So for who's the character? You can start with a personality, age, gender, profession, or appearance. For what, you can start with actions like dancing, singing, or expressions like being angry. For where, you can start by a location, props, or furniture. For when, it could be an event, a time, era, period, weather, or season. For why, it could be a motivation or genre. For how, it could be the mood or the vibe. What do I mean by seed or starters? What do I mean by you can start with one of these? So let's look at an example. I chose an event for my seed. It is a birthday party. From that seed, we ask questions to fill in the story. Okay, our first question is who? Who are present in the scene? It's usually going to be based on your personal experience. Since this is my story, when I threw birthday parties when I was young, I would invite my neighbors and my classmates. So they are the subjects. Let's ask more questions, okay? Let's be more specific. How old are they? These are young kids around 10 years old. What do they look like? Appearance. Could be their clothing and hairstyle. So for me, all of the characters are wearing shirt and shorts because I grew up in the Philippines and my birthday is in the summer break. So it's really hot there. Okay. Next is what? What are the characters doing? They're probably eating food, chatting, could be playing board games or card games. Where is this happening? In our house. But let's be more specific. They're probably in a cramped living room or at the dining table. So this is how we create a story. We continue to ask more questions and make it more specific and detailed. Okay, now let's have an activity. I will give a specific action and together we'll come up with a story by asking more questions. Okay, please use the chat box and I'll choose some nice answers as we go along. Okay, the action is running. Running. Pretty simple and a common activity. Now, my first question is, who is running? Can I have some interesting answers in the chat? Make it more creative. Could be an individual or a group of people. Could also be not a human at all. Let's see. Okay. We have a toddler, a lobster, a robot. Okay, a group of lions. I think we'll go with a little boy and a dog. Okay, let's put a pause to the chat box. So our subject is a little boy and a dog. Okay, so our next question is, where are they running? What is the setting like? So remember the subject is a little boy and a dog. Okay, so we have a park, beach, and the kitchen, the pharmacy, in the city, by the river, the fields. I think we'll go with inside a forest. Okay, let's put a pause in the chat box. So this is a little boy and a dog running in the forest. Next question, when? When is this happening? Could be time of day, time in history. When is this happening? During nighttime, okay, under sunset, dawn, rainy day, early morning, autumn sunset, snowy night. I think we'll go with snowy night. Okay, let's put a pause to the chat box again. So it's a little boy and a dog running in the forest on a snowy night. Next is, why are they running? What's their motivation? What do you think is happening here? Why are they running? Think about the previous details that we have, okay? So it's a little boy and a dog running in the forest on in a snowy night, on a winter night. Why? Afraid of the wolves, to get home quickly, snowball fight, they're being chased, following a butterfly, that's cute. A big storm is coming, chasing a rabbit. I think I saw one that I like. Running away from a snowman. Okay, let's put a pause to that. Okay, so it's a little boy and a dog running in the forest on a snowy night. They're probably running away from a snowman. So our next question is, how is the scene like? Like, what's the vibe? Is this like a horror scene? Bit because it's dark, right? And it's at night. So what's the mood like? Whimsical, intense and scary, fear, frightening, nightmare, bravely, horrific, dreamy, magical. Okay, let's put a pause to that. I'll choose intense. So it's like heart like racing kind of feeling. Okay, so it's intense. Great. So now we have a story. It's a little boy and a dog running in the forest on a snowy night. They're running away from a snowman. We don't know if like what the snowman looks like. We don't know what the boy looks like or the dog looks like. But I think these details will come up as long as you keep asking yourself some questions. Now it's time for an individual activity. It's time for you to create your own story. You can start with whatever seed or starter you want and then build your own story from that. Just make sure that there's at least a who, so it's a person or a subject, a what, an action, and a where, a location. So the more details, the better. Just write it down on your paper. Don't share it in the chat box. Just write it down on your paper because we'll be needing this on the following activities. So I'll be giving you 5 minutes to do this activity on your own. I'll also share this previous slide again to help you with your story. Okay, time is up. Hold on to your story. We'll be needing it on our next activity. Now let's continue on with our steps. Our next step is to blossom that seed. Like plants, it needs some sunlight, water, and a good soil. We can do this by creating a mood board. A mood board is a visual collage that helps set the tone, style, and the overall feel of an illustration. It's a collection of images, colors, textures, and references that inspire and guide the creative process. So this is an example of a mood board. The story here is there's a young couple running in the streets of New York City in the middle of the day. I put some photos and illustrations of New York in there, the yellow taxis, and a reference image of a couple running, and a clear color palette. And This is how the final illustration came out. See how the different elements I placed on the mood board are incorporated in the final work. Let's see another example. This story features a little girl watering a plant while riding a rabbit in the hills on a cloudy day. So that's our story. You can see I have a reference photo of a child, some hills, a rabbit, and a clear color palette. This is how the illustration came out. The different elements that I just said are incorporated in the final artwork. Okay, great. Now that we know and understand what a mood board looks like, it's time to create our own mood board based on the story you wrote on your paper. So we will be using Canva and Pixabay in this process. I would like everyone to open up Canva and create a new presentation. So you can create a presentation by clicking on create a new presentation. And then you can collate images and illustrations from Canva. So you can just click on elements, search on the elements that you want to import there, or you can go to Pixabay, search the image or the illustration that you want, download it, and upload it on Canva. Arrange it on only one page or one slide. Doesn't have to be neat or very organized, as long as the thought is there. So just some things to consider. Um, the character design, such as expressions, um, poses, clothing, also the environment, the color palette, composition, and other symbolism, if any. So I'll be giving you 15 minutes to do this activity. Okay, time is up. So now we'll be having a little show and tell. I prepared a whiteboard. This is what the whiteboard will look like. First, you'll have to download your mood board as an image, upload it in the whiteboard using the upload button here. After everyone has uploaded their work, I will call a few of you, share a little bit about the story you made and why you made your mood board that way. Just explain what are the things or elements on your mood board. So many work. Let's see here. Can I call on Sarah?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, so my story is about a little fox that has a deer thorn in its head, and it has a
Ooh.
cat tail, like in a whimsical form, magical form, and is playing with a little fairy that had an accident and she cannot walk, so it's in a stair, and she can also
Okay.
not fly because her the sorry, my main language is not English. Her
It's
wings
okay.
are
Mm-hmm.
broken, but she plays the lyre, like
Mm-hmm.
an and she's in a Greek space in a whimsical forest. And instead of the situation that she's in the stairways and she cannot walk, she cannot fly, but she's very happy because she has her little friend that is playing all around, like very happy, champagne with her and bringing happiness to her life. And she can engage with happiness even in the middle of something that maybe should see like a sad moment.
Yeah. I love that. Looking at your mood board, like I can feel that it's gonna be whimsical, magical, and I find the deer antlers in the fox so cute. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Okay, now let's look at some other work. Can we have Jonathan?
Um, Hello,
Hi.
hello. Oh
Hello.
my god,
We can hear you.
I I did not expect to get called. Um, Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm from the Philippines, and this is my mood board. What I wrote in my paper here is uh, there's a teenage girl who lives in a post-apocalyptic city, and
Mm-hmm.
then the story is like she has to retrieve like an item. Um,
Ooh.
maybe it's a family heirloom or like a special
Mm.
item that could like restore the world or something like that. And
Yeah.
then from the farther right side, there's like this robot with a gun. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like they're hunting her down, or like they're um trying to get the item. They're like protecting the item. Maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then yeah, she has like a companion. There's a
Yeah. Is that
cat
a
here.
sidekick? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, or
Yeah.
like there's something special with the cat. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
And is that her weapon?
yeah. I mean, if
Okay.
she lives in a post-apocalyptic world, she has to like has something to defend herself, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing,
Yeah, thank you so
Jonathan. I love
much.
the background. Like the setting is really clear that it's a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Let's zoom out a little bit. Um this looks like a princess moment. Can we have Jago?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi,
Hi.
thank you for
Hi.
having me. Well, basically, this doesn't look too much like what I have in mind. It's what the
Okay.
image that what I was thinking with this is that she's
Mhm.
obviously a member of our royal family, like a princess.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of a post-apocalyptic world, but it's like a world in ruins. It's like everything around her it's torn into pieces, and it's kind of
Mm,
dark.
right.
She is standing in the middle of a ruined castle, something like that.
Mhm.
Her bloodline, her family, had like a
Mhm.
curse upon them,
Oh, okay.
and she had to marry. It that's what I picture her with a wedding
Okay.
dress. She had to marry a member of another royal family, um, and to undo this curse, but she couldn't marry him in time, so she was transported to this other world.
Ooh, okay.
It's kind of sad. It has a sad end.
Mhm. I love the can you tell me about the color palette?
Oh, the color palette. I try to balance between dark tones and light tones because she was obviously in joyful, joyful tones because it was her wedding day. And the blue
Right.
is like the blue from the spell that
Oh, okay.
activated when she was
Mhm.
transported. Hmm. That's
Mm,
basically it.
okay.
Hmm.
That's so nice. I love the color palette so much. Thank you so much for
Like,
sharing, Diego.
thank you.
I think we can have two more people. Let's look around. Can we call on I like dogs. Can we call on Mazaya?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Hello.
I'm sorry. Hello. So the story is about a boy who just
Mhm.
found his cat who were gone for a few days. So
Mm.
the setting is on winter, so that's why I look for the picture of winters and the
Yeah.
street that the season on winter, and uh, also t- I also look for the picture uh, for the appearance for the boy and the cat.
Mhm.
So the cat will be the black cat, and the boy will be wearing a red sweater with a
Mm.
yellow like that, and
Oh, so
they
that's
will
what the color is for. Okay.
yeah, and they will meet when he find the cat. They will like he will like hug the cat like tears like where have you been like that. So that's why I
Okay, yeah.
talking scene. Yeah,
Yes.
that's about that.
Okay. I was excited for the dog, but it was a cat. The main
Yeah,
character was a cat.
it should be a cat. Yeah,
Okay.
the original story is about a cat. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing. I love this. I love
Thank
this.
you,
Yeah,
Miki.
it's
Thank you, everyone.
thank you. It's a clear reference of what the pose will be and then what the outfit would be. This is a nice mood board. Simple mood board. Okay. Can we have one last um okay. Can we have Iro?
Hello, Miki.
Hello.
Thank you for
Hello.
choosing. Yes. Um. As you said before, I try to ask the question why, who, what, where, when, why,
Mm-hmm.
and in my mind, something come up because I'm from Myanmar, and in Myanmar there
Ooh.
is like a airstrike happening
Mm,
many times in Myanmar.
mm.
So Myanmar children, we have to hide from the airstrike, and we have to make our self-made bomb shelter. So this is about family, mainly kids. Um, I want to make some illustration for them, like they are
Mhm.
hiding in the shelter
Mhm.
with their family. So
Yeah.
I choose to include the ray coming from the above. So
Yeah, this is
there's,
beautiful.
yeah,
Mhm.
that one. And the golden dust
Mhm.
happening from the airstrike.
Yeah.
Ah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much. This is such a um beautiful mood board. It ties in with your story and I love the color palette. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much for
it
sharing.
is, yes, it is really maybe had to I want to like adjust the post the colorful and evil mood. So there's
Yeah.
both sad and happy happening in
Yeah, yeah,
one
I can see that.
photo.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Iro. Thank you so much for sharing. Everyone, thank you so much for putting your mood board here. I'll take my time later to look at all your works. Thank you so much. So now let's continue on with our steps. After creating a mood board out of your stories, the next step is to create a sketch. Essentially, a sketch is a rough, quick drawing. It's a way for an artist to explore ideas, plan the composition of the final piece, work out the placement of elements that we had on our mood board, and capture the overall feeling or concept. Sketches are not intended to be finished or polished pieces. Here are examples of a sketch. Usually, if it's a complex piece, it goes through different sketches and revisions. It's also the part where you can explore different compositions of the same concept, like this. different composition, same concept. In order to draw an illustration with storytelling very well, every artist needs to know some foundational skills. So here's a really quick crash course on some foundations that could help improve your art. First is composition. One aspect of composition is perspective. How does perspective affect the viewer's interpretation? In this example, it shows a wide shot angle. So a wide shot will often keep the entire subject in the frame while giving context to the environment. It can also be used to make the subject appear isolated or small, like the couple is in their own world here in this photo. How does the placement of elements within the frame create emphasis and guide the viewer's eye? So this example makes use of rule of thirds. For those who are not familiar, rule of thirds is dividing an image into 3 by 3 grid with 2 horizontal and 2 vertical lines. Off-center composition is pleasing to the eye because it's usually where the eyes go first. This allows room for the relationship between the subject and the background. Another aspect of composition is the use of lines and shapes. How does the use of lines and shape create movement and direction? The illustration here perfectly captures the concept of leading lines. Leading lines are lines within the image that are used to direct the viewer's gaze toward a specific point in the illustration. So artists use it to connect the character to the essential object or situation or secondary subject. From this girl, it leads to the building at the back. Leading lines can be actual lines like roads or rivers, but it could also be implied lines like the direction of a person's gaze or the arrangement of objects. Moving on from composition, we have colors. How do different colors evoke different emotions? How can color be used to symbolize specific ideas or characters? Some of the people who shared earlier, they mentioned that they used light colors to symbolize like happiness or like a more joyful environment. So it's the same concept in this illustration. We can see that blue usually means sadness, loneliness, or being cold, literally and figuratively. Next, we also look at light and shadow. How does the use of light and shadow create mood and atmosphere? In this example, a spotlight emphasizes the importance of a performer in the moment. It can also add a sense of drama and intensity to a performance, making a moment feel more significant and impactful. Next, we have character design. We look at physical features. How do physical features like facial expressions, body language, and clothing convey personality and emotions? How can it symbolize social status, background, or inner conflicts? In this example, the first illustration looks fine, but it's a bit boring. In the second, the shape and the features of the king make him look more proud, and more powerful. Next, we have symbolism. How can symbols be used to add layers of meaning to a story? How can symbolism be used to convey abstract concepts like hope, fear, or loss? In this illustration, a tiny child among giant adults could mean feeling overwhelmed or powerless. It could mean fear and intimidation. Also mean feeling unnoticed or ignored. Or it could be curiosity, growth, and aspirations. Okay, now we'll have a quick activity. I'll give you an abstract concept, and you'll describe how it can be presented in an illustration. So let's try to avoid too cliche symbols like dove for peace or like heart for love. Send it in the chat. Our abstract concept is growth. What can you think, or what possible symbols can you think of when given the word growth? A ladder, a tree, a sapling, a balloon, a baby. Oh, I love this. Marks on a wall for a child's height. Like the lines. Yeah, I love that. Staircase to the skies. Plant coming from a rock. A family. Bark line of the tree. Yeah, I like that. A child observing their parent working in admiration. Okay, these are nice examples of what growth could look like. Thank you so much for messaging your answers in the chat box. Now we're at the last step. After thinking of a story, creating a mood board, and sketching, it's time to create your final artwork. So this is your homework. So finish your illustration at home after this workshop. Here are the next steps in your creative career. Remember to reach out to me if you'd like to get set up with an account on Pixabay and need some support to optimize your profile or uploads. And of course, if you're already in our community and looking for extra exposure, then we highly encourage you to upload your homework or your finished illustration on Pixabay. I would love to see them. People would love to see them. Okay, so upload your finished illustration on Pixabay. Just message me if you need some help with setting up your account or with anything else related to Pixabay. Thank you so much for joining me in this workshop. I hope you learned a lot and had fun. Make sure you follow Pixabay on social media, sign up to our newsletter, or follow us on Eventbrite to hear about all the upcoming events and workshops we have planned. That's all for today. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time on our next illustration workshops.